Oh no. Oh my god, no way. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Courtney and this is Creative on the Cheap. If you are new, I am so happy that you are here. And if you've been with me for a while, a big welcome back to all of my Creative Club members. Guess what? It's time for another round of the Mystery Box Challenge. You guys probably know the drill by now, but let's just do a quick recap. So there's a group of YouTubers, we get together, we're assigned another YouTuber, and then we send them a random box of goodies. This month's host is Christina from Christina Elizabeth. So let's see what she has up her sleeve for this month. For this month's theme, it is For the Love of Fall. So items 1, 2, and 3 were Cinder's Choice. Item 4 had to be made of wood. Item 5 was something pumpkin. Item 6, something orange. Item 7 was fall floral, and item 8 was some form of fabric. For the 2 challenge items, one challenge item had to be a random item from our garage, and the second one had to be from the beauty section of the store. The twist is we have to create a DIY with a fall theme that was assigned to us. We were each given a different one, so hang on and I'll tell you what that is. So that's the 411 on the box. Now the twist. For this month's twist, Christina assigned each one of us a different fall theme. So that's going to be really fun to go watch everyone's videos and see what theme word they received. Mine is sweater weather. So that means one of my DIYs has to fit into that theme. I sent my box over to Lisa at Lisa Birmingham, and I got my box from Christina from Christina Elizabeth. As you know, there's always that playlist down below that you guys can watch. And then there's also voting that's always open for 1 week and will close next Friday. So let's dig into the box and see what Christina sent me. Dun, 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 dun. Nice little tissue paper. Okay. Not scared. Not worried. All right, let's start with this. Oh, the something pumpkin is pumpkin pie spice. Okay. This is Cinder's Choice. Can't go wrong with the wreath form, so that's good. I like that. Something orange. Christina. Okay. All right, I can't, oh, stand by. What is happening here? Ah, there's a little bit of, wait a minute, what? Okay. Wait, this is something fabric, but this is not, oh. Okay, we'll just throw the something fabric back in the box. Item made of wood, palette sign. All right. Okay, something fabric must be this. I don't know where I threw the sticker. Oh, here it is. Okay, something fabric. Oh, that's cute. Is it like a, this is really cute. Oh, and it has some flower, wait, what? Okay, it's kind of like a cable knit material. Okay, I like this a lot. That's very nice. Thank you. Cinder's Choice, some leather leaves from Dollar Tree. Okay, floral, sunflowers. All right, I like it. I like it a lot. And then Cinder's Choice. It's a bucket that says give thanks. Okay, I don't know what I am. Oh, there's a card. I'm gonna read this card. If she apologizes, I'm probably not gonna accept it. Okay. Courtney, thanks so much for including me in another round of the Mystery Box Challenge. Hopefully we can still be friends after this round. Debatable. I had fun choosing the item from my garage. Oh no. Most of the items in my garage are my husband's, so shh. Let's not tell him I took anything. Haha, I can't wait to see what you create. Happy crafting. Love, your friend Christina. Okay. Great. This is, all right. This is cute tissue paper. Okay, so the 2 challenge items, one had to be from the beauty section, the other from the garage. So let's do the beauty. Take a deep breath. Okay. Okay. Self-stay rollers. I don't know if that's gonna focus in. Okay. Oh, gosh darn it. Okay. Ooh, wait a minute. Oh. Okay. I think I have an idea for this. Okay. Now, for the challenge item from the garage that apparently is her husband's, I hope you won't want it back. It feels like a, I don't know what it feels like, but not anything that's going to be easy to craft with. Oh, no. Oh, my God. No way. What the frick, frack? Holy Toledo. Okay. 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 Yeah. Christina. It is a, like the duck, you know, the duck buoy things you put in the water, I think. Yeah. And then your dog goes and gets the duck. What in the world? Well, one thing is true. I don't have a problem destroying things, and oh, little duck, you're in for a long ride. Okay. Okay. You've seen my items. This is going to be a wild ride, so let's get crafting. For this DIY, I will be using the orange cone along with some of the florals. So when I pulled this out of the box, I immediately had an idea for it, and all I could see was a cornucopia. Now, obviously, it's not quite the right shape, so I knew I was going to have to manipulate it a little to get it that way. So the first thing I did was grab my scissors and I trimmed some of that extra off at the bottom of this orange cone just to make it rounded, but I definitely wanted to keep an edge around the end of this cone. Then it came time to figure out how to shape this a little bit. So, of course, I was like, ooh, I'm going to grab my heat gun and I'm going to bend it because I'm Wonder Woman and I'm just going to, it's all going to work out. No, I mean, honestly, I was using my crafting heat gun and the whole time I was like, okay, you probably should be wearing gloves. And then I was like, this heat gun's not even going to get hot enough. Do I really want to try to bend plastic? So I ditched that idea and said, I'm just going to have to cut this up and kind of piece it back together to get the shape that I need. So I cut it at an angle and realized once I did that I was going to be able to very weirdly piece this thing back together to get the right shape that I needed. So it definitely needed to be at an angle to make this work. And what I realized is that I was going to need to use some popsicle sticks along with some tumbling tower blocks to kind of just add the extra security. So I trimmed kind of a little extra piece that was off. And then as far as the pointy part, I stuck it in there and I used some hot glue to get that in there along with a tumbling tower block to kind of anchor that in place. So what I did was just take one of the tumbling tower blocks, use my miter shears to cut it in half, add some hot glue, and then stuck that in there. And what it's doing is it's securing the two pieces together. So as you can see, it kind of lifts up in the back and it's forming the shape that I need. And so I just add some extra tumbling tower blocks, make sure it is definitely stuck there so that I can add the popsicle sticks to kind of fill the gap on the bottom portion. Now I had to add my support to that gaping hole there at the bottom. And to do that, I just grabbed some of these orange popsicle sticks that I had in my stash. I believe they're considered the large size, not the jumbo, but the large size. And I cut 3 pieces of popsicle stick and I just hot glued it to kind of fill that gap, because what's going to happen is I'm actually going to end up wrapping this with some rope. And if I didn't, that rope would kind of go there into that little hole and then the shape would be all wonky and it wouldn't look right. So I'm just securing these pieces of popsicle stick with some hot glue. So now it's time to just wrap this. Now you definitely could paint this first if you wanted to, or paint the inside. I kind of like that it was orange inside with the whole fall color vibe. And I decided I was just going to be really careful about pushing my rope together so that hopefully the orange won't show through. So up to you if you want to paint it, but you're just going to take some type of rope. I just got this big roll from Amazon. I will link everything from today's video down below in the description box. So check there if you have any questions about products or printables or anything like that. And I'm just securing it with some hot glue all the way until I get to the end. And then once I'm at the end, I just kind of wrap it into itself to close off the end of this cornucopia. Now we need to finish this off, and to do that I grabbed some of the dark brown nautical rope, and starting on the bottom of the cornucopia, I am just going to glue once around, kind of just at the bottom of the, I guess, the lip. You know how I talked about cutting the circle around it? Yeah, there's kind of like a little bit of a lip there. So I'm going to take some of this brown nautical rope, glue that all the way around that base. Then I'm also going to glue around the front part of it, because most cornucopias do kind of have a two-tone thing going on, and it's a little bit bulkier and a little bit chunkier at that part of the cornucopia. So that is the look I am going for. The last step was just to stuff the cornucopia, and to do that I started with a little bit of moss that I hot glued down at the bottom portion. I grabbed some of those florals that Christina sent me, some leaves that I had, some pumpkins, some corn, and just kind of shoved it all in there, and then voila, I've got myself a orange traffic cone cornucopia.
So small, watch the clock ticking off the wall, but tonight I'm letting it go, spend my coin for sure.
Moving into this DIY, I will be using the wreath form, the fabric, and some of the florals that she sent me, and this will check off the twist, which was to make a DIY inspired by my fall theme, which is sweater weather. So I started with the fabric and decided that I wanted to wrap this wreath form with pieces of the fabric to kind of give that whole sweater vibe. So I cut a couple of strips the same width, and then I started by putting a little bit of hot glue and just wrapped it at a diagonal, and I continued to do that until the entire wreath form was covered with this fabric. Now I decided for this wreath, instead of covering the entire thing, I'm just going to focus on a floral thing towards the bottom. I did grab the pack of orange leaves. I can't remember if I said that I'd be using them in this DIY. Well, I am. I'm going to end up using 4 of these leaves, with 2 of them kind of being the main focal point down at the bottom of the wreath. But before I start messing with the leaves, I wanted to make some sweater roses. That's right. I don't know if that's a thing, but I'm making it a thing, so sweater roses. And to do that, I grabbed some of the strips of fabric that I had left over, and I folded it in half, and then I just took some hot glue and I just wrapped it around, basically making it look like a cinnamon roll sweater. And then once that was done, I did like the whole just kind of neutral vibe, but I really wanted it to have some color. So I grabbed some of my little stencil dauber things. I get these in a huge pack from Amazon. I can't remember exactly what they are. They're like dental. I can't remember what they're called, but I'll have them linked down below. They're great little daubers for this type of project. And I grabbed some orange paint and I just started stamping it all over my little cinnamon bun sweater rose. I wanted to fancy up my little orange sweater rose, so I grabbed the florals that Christina sent me, pulled off 2 leaves that I trimmed down along with a couple of the flowers, and I hot glued those at an angle to the bottom of the orange rose, and then I also glued on a little flower. For the next rose, I made a bigger flower, and what I did for this one is I twisted the fabric to kind of wrap it around, and then again secured it with some hot glue and dabbed it with some red paint. I took my red rose and I glued it to my 2 leaves so that it was centered right between those 2 orange leaves. And then the orange one will go, the little orange cinnamon bun flower thing will go on the other side. And I decided I need one more for the other side of the red flower. So I did the same cinnamon bun roll technique and I stamped that with some yellow paint. Now I was ready to attach this, so I just hot glued it down. I did add some more of those florals, little flowers. I added some more green leaves. I kind of just added until I felt like it looked very nice. Then the finishing touch was to add a bow to it. I had a little bit more of that sweater knit fabric, and I decided to just tie a very simple bow and hot glue it to the top of this wreath. And then there you go. This is a very unique sweater weather themed wreath.
Myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now. I'm gonna skip my breaks. I'm gonna make mistakes. I just wanna feel alive. It's just what I do when I'm out. So try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town.
I'll be using the Give Thanks bucket along with the pumpkin spice for this project. You're getting a little bit of everything in today's video. There's a fall DIY coming up, there's a Halloween DIY, and this is a Christmas DIY. So I started by grabbing my favorite color of paint, Restore. This is the perfect gingerbread color, and to my horror, it was completely dried up. I couldn't be salvaged. I tried to make it, it just was not working. So plan B was to take 2 shades of brown that I had, mix them together, and I ended up putting 2 coats of that paint on this bucket. Now here is the secret. You can see that the paint is still a little damp. Take that pumpkin spice and start sprinkling it all over the bucket. That's what I did. And I'm telling you, it looks like gingerbread up close. This adds such a unique texture, not to mention it smells amazing. So I sprinkled this all over and then I let it sit for a second, and then I just took my hand and just kind of wiped it all in, and it gave it this brown, cloudy gingerbread. I don't even know, but try it on something. I'm telling you, it works great. Now, I was a little nervous about this next step, but I did take it outside and spray a very light coat of this satin sealer on it. I was afraid it was going to take the smell away from the bucket, the pumpkin smell, but it didn't. I'm telling you, it did not. So I was very pleasantly surprised by that. Grab your paint markers, and it was time to draw a face on this gingerbread. So I started with 2 eyes using a black marker. For the nose, I used a red marker, and then for the mouth, I used a black marker again. Then for the cheeks, I used some pink paint that I dabbed on. And then I wanted to add some highlights in with white markers, so I did a little bit of highlight on the nose along with the eyes. Once that was all done, I wasn't quite sure the vibe I was feeling, and so I felt like it needed something else. So what I did was grab my paintbrush and some white paint, and I painted a white squiggly line at the top part of the bucket. I wanted to line the inside of my bucket, so I had this fabric in my stash. It came from Hobby Lobby, and what I did was press a seam. I just folded it over, pressed it, and then folded it over one more time so that when I went to put it on the bucket, I could have this folded part essentially just hanging over the edge, and it was easy to secure it. So that's what I did. Made a seam, stuck it in there, and then as I was going around the bucket, I was securing it with some hot glue. Now, as I was looking at the bucket, I had pulled some greenery because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do to finish this off, and I realized, you know what, I think it needs a squiggly line on the bottom as well. So I grabbed my paintbrush, the white paint, and then I also painted a squiggly line on the bottom, and then the finishing thing that I did was just to add a bow kind of off to the side. I hot glued that directly on there, and now you've got this cute little Christmas bucket. You could use use it to hold a gift. You could use it to put candy canes in it, candy in your office. So many different options and a cute little way to make over just a plain little bucket.
I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing can break me. No, nothing can break me. Try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at the beautiful stars. I wanna take a trip to Mars. Nothing can break me. No, nothing can break me.
The wooden palette, along with one of my challenge items, the beauty rollers, are going to be used in this project. I started by removing this twine to the back. I'm going to save it because I will be reattaching it. And then I grabbed some black paint and I painted the entire sign full coverage with black paint. Now, I am not using a Cricut for this project, but you certainly can do that if you would like to. But what I have here are a couple of different, there's 4 total, of the font of Trick or Treat, because I'm going to hand paint this and trace this onto my sign. You can grab these printables down below in the description box if you would like to use them. I ended up deciding on this Trick or Treat, so I cut it out and then grabbed some graphite paper and just kind of did the good old-fashioned trace with the pencil, and then it transferred over to my sign to make it really easy for me when I went in to paint it. For the letters, I grabbed 3 different colors. I grabbed purple, orange, and yellow, and I just started hand painting with just regular old paintbrushes and painting these letters. It took about 2 coats, I would say, to get this completely covered. Some of them needed a couple little touch-up areas, but overall, it was pretty painless. You certainly could use paint markers here if you'd want to do that route, but I was just kind of feeling the whole paint by hand thing, and I really do like how it turned out. In comes challenge item number 1, the beauty rollers. I decided to turn these into little pieces of candy. So I had all this kind of Halloween-y colored fabric in my stash, all came from Hobby Lobby. And I started by taking the rollers and pulling off the pink, fuzzy, weird, like caterpillar-y, like outside, and then I was left with this plastic inside. I trimmed them with my tin snips I did one that just left it the regular size, and then I took one and cut it in half. I wasn't sure how many I wanted to put on this board, but I only ended up attaching 3 to the actual board, and then in a little bit I'm going to work some onto the handle. But all I did was take some fabric, I hot glued it to the little roller, wrapped it around, and then I used my pinking shears to cut the ends so that it just had a little bit of flair and looked more like a piece of candy. And then I tied off the ends just using some black and white twine that I had in my stash from Dollar Tree. Once those were all done, I was wanting to paint some things onto my sign as well. So here's where I started. I grabbed my paint markers and I wanted to finish off and just kind of give the letters a little bit of finesse. So I started by tracing all the letters with a black paint marker. From there, I did grab a purple one and do some polka dots and some stripes just to add a little character to a few of the letters. And then I also grabbed white and added some highlights by just adding some swooshy lines along the letters along with a couple of dots. And I really like how this turned out. I also used my paint markers to draw some candy corns. I drew a ghost along with a pumpkin. Then I just hot glued down those pieces of candy that I made out of the beauty rollers. And to finish it off, I grabbed that piece of twine that I cut off earlier at the very beginning, and I made some pieces of candy, but I didn't tie them off yet. I wrapped them with the fabric, cut them with the pinking shears, and then went ahead and just thread that twine through them. Then once they were on the twine, I tied them off so that there were cute little candies on the hanger. And now this sign is ready to be displayed for all your trick-or-treaters.
Look at the beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. Lay my troubles to rest. Blow the smoke through my cigarette. City lights looking fine, and I know this is my time now. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else.
And here we are at that last challenge item, this duck decoy. So here it is. You guys always like it when I keep it real, which I love to do. So here's a little bit of real audio as I was trying to make a DIY out of this duck. I don't even know what to say to this thing. Violent crafting sessions. It's got little weights in it. Fantastic. There are so many words that I could think of about this duck that rhyme with duck. Suck. Not got to say the other word I'm thinking of because, well, you know, this is a family-friendly show. Burn it off, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, little duck. You really suck. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. It's too late now. I can't turn back. Hey, what'd you do today, Courtney? Ooh, killed a duck. Killed a duck. I didn't make a straight line, dang it. Okay, straight line. Pansies. I don't even know why I just said that. Straight lines are for pansies. Well, okay. Guess I'm not a pansy because I can't seem to make a straight line. Your husband is real proud of this DIY, Christina. He's probably like crying big tears of sorrow right now. Not my duck. Not Howard. Howard the duck. This is just not right. Has anybody ever tried duck? It is not very tasty. Is this thing on? Like, this is the duck murder line. Sorry, little duck. You are gonna die now. Okay, you're doing great, duck. You're being a real trooper. Little duck, 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 doot, doot. Little duck, 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 doot, doot. Little duck, 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 doot, doot. You're gonna die. Hey, doot, 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 doot. If you end up liking this craft, I would suggest you just go find it for sale, not try to make it. Unless you want to look like a duck serial killer. So the end goal here was to get the duck cut in half, which I was able to do. Now you can see it's a little rough around the edges where I cut him, but I used a combination of my tin snips and my Versa tool to get those edges nice and smooth out. And then I headed outside to give it some spray paint. I grabbed some fancy gold spray paint to try to make this duck really special. And I spray painted the duck along with 4 pieces of 1x4 that I had in my garage that I cut down to about 6 inches each. And then this is what I was left with: a golden decapitated duck and 4 pieces of gold wood. Now, taking your 4 pieces of wood and some strong adhesive glue, you could use wood glue, you could use a brad nailer if you have it. I'm just using some Gorilla Clear Grip along with some hot glue. You're going to glue 2 of the boards together. You're making L's basically. So you want to make an L with 1 set of 2 and then another L with the other set of 2 pieces of wood. In case you haven't figured it out, I'm making bookends. So what you needed to do is weigh down these ducks a little bit. So I'm using Dollar Tree rocks to weigh them down because you definitely want these bookends to have some weight to hold the books together if you choose to make this and use it. But I'm gonna be brutally honest here. At this point in the craft, y'all, I was just delirious. It was just a lot of chaos, okay? As you can tell, it's not sitting flush because I just wasn't super, again, with the whole straight line thing. I didn't get a straight line. So I did attach it. I ended up having to put a tumbling tower block in the duck and then glue that to the L part of the bracket. Anyway, and then the gaps were bothering me. So I was like, ooh, air dry clay. I can, fill in the gaps. So I started doing that. And then I had to take it back out and spray paint it. And it was just chaos. It was chaos. But you know what? It's done. It's done. My son thinks they're awesome. So if he thinks they're great, then it's a win. I don't know. You guys tell me, would you make duck bookends? Please let me know down below in the comments.
Stopping me now. I'm gonna skip my breaks. I'm gonna make mistakes. I just wanna feel alive. It's just
That's going to wrap up this round of the Mystery Box Challenge. Let me know down below which one of these projects was your favorite. Also, as always, let me know what would you have done with those 2 challenge items, the beauty rollers and that duck decoy. And finally, continuing on my Get to Know You Guys series, answer this question. Name an unusual food combo that you really like. So like, French fries and a milkshake. Right now, I am loving Simply Limeade with fresh jalapenos sliced in it. So if you've got an interesting combo, also include that down below in your comment because there may be some that some of us want to try. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to check out the playlist, a link down below, and vote for your favorites. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!
What I do when I'm out, so try not to hold me down, feel alive.